What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Rewind here on the Wayward World podcast. This is the three-time award-nominated podcast now because I'm up for an award, a local award here in Spokane. So this is kind of crazy. It's the same award that I got nominated for like 3 years ago. So we'll see what happens. That's really cool. I'm Sid, your host, and today I have a very special guest, someone I've wanted on the show for a very long time. You might like this guest and also like cock, but also she is an amazing drag queen from Stockton, California. And I bring up that reference here in just a minute because I actually have a surprise for her. Please welcome to the show, Bijou Bentley. How are you doing, Bijou?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing so good.
Yeah. So I mentioned at the top of the
So
show.
good.
That's good to hear. I mentioned at the top of the show, like, I like Bijou Bentley and sucking cock. So I actually have this
I
shirt.
love
Hmm.
the
Yeah, I just
representation.
absolutely. I can't wear this anywhere else in, in my life. So, but maybe in the clubs once in a while. Maybe when I'm in California.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
wanted to
No,
also.
I have a couple and I'm like, I have some where they're printed on the back of the shirt. And I
Mhm,
always have to check anytime I grab it, what I think is a plain black shirt. I
mhm.
have to just double check before I put it on
Love that. And I
because you
also
can't wear that
and I'm
everywhere.
also representing Pokemon, which you love as well.
I
That
do.
is this is a
Guilty.
this is what we mentioned this on the previous episode of the show, but this is a 14 karat gold plated diamond necklace.
Wow.
It is
Oh, so fancy.
it is probably the most craziest purchase I've ever made, but it's I just had to wear it for the occasion because one of the things
No,
we're
and
going
you
to talk.
deserved it.
Oh,
Treat yourself.
I always treat myself, unfortunately, every single day. How
Yeah.
are you excited? This isn't your first time on a podcast. Like I've listened to, like you were on this video game podcast too, but like, how do you feel about
Yes.
this whole thing?
I haven't done a podcast in a minute. I think I probably recorded that one a year ago-ish,
Hmm.
and that was the last time I've done a podcast. But I think they're so much fun.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to be here.
and this one's really just about you. So why don't you tell us who is Bijou Bentley?
I'm Bijou. I am a visual artist and drag performer in the Central Valley. I perform a lot in Sacramento. I am currently based in Lodi, California. I just moved from Stockton a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
But if you don't know the area, Lodi is literally like the next town over. So people are like, "Oh my God, you're moving?" And I was like, across town, like 10
okay.
minutes away. Um, but yeah, that's me. I'm from the East Coast. I don't know if this flips. I'm from the East Coast originally, but I've lived in California for the past 6 years.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I'm a retail bitch by day and a performer at night.
I love that. Yeah, you do a lot of stuff specifically with Meatball and Fat Slut, at least just
Yes,
recently too.
yes.
Yeah, I love
Yes, I
that.
just did Fat Slut last weekend. I'm doing Fat Slut. She's coming up to San Francisco in not this weekend or the weekend after, but the week after. So 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be one of the guests for Fat Slut San Francisco as well.
Oh, I love that. I
Yes, very
that's
fun.
that's a show I've always wanted to go to, but I just never got around to it. I always go to LA, but I always
Mhm.
miss that show. But I've talked about it like extensively on this show.
You
Um,
have to get down for it sometime.
yeah, one of these days, one of these days. Um, so you've lived in California for 6 years, but you've been doing drag for a very long time. You've been doing drag for as long as I've been in this country, believe it or not, 11
Too long.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Has
started drag as like a bedroom queen because I was too young to go out. Um, so I was like, a social media girly posting like bad drag on Instagram and Twitter and Tumblr and stuff like that. And eventually was like old enough to go out and just kind of got my start there. But I don't know. I mean, there's something very fun about the bedroom drag and the like. I don't know. I feel like the kids today don't get it
actually, don't they?
because you have so much resource and so much everything. And I started drag like as a baby with like 3 YouTube tutorials and not a lot of reference.
Oh yeah. I mean, they get a lot of reference now, but I feel like there's definitely a lot more bedroom drag queens, at least like the TikTokers, you know?
That's true. That's true. And I feel like drag being more accessible, I feel like there's probably more underage people like doing drag and trying to get their start than ever, I guess. But nowadays, I sound like such an old queen. But nowadays, like you can find a tutorial for anything
Mhm,
online. And it was like it was hard back then.
mhm. And there's
That's my excuse for how bad I looked anyway.
yeah, and there's footage of it. I've seen the video of you,
Oh, there
li
sure is.
yeah, little Bijou, auditioning for Tumblr's Drag Race, which I
Oh, yes.
well, you were in that,
The
right?
good old days.
Like I couldn't find
Was, and I won the cycle that I participated in.
okay. That's so cool. Like
So,
you're definitely a lot
thank you.
online, like doing all these competitions and stuff. I know about Tumblr's Drag Race specifically because of Erica Clash, who was also a participant in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Dear friend of mine.
Yeah,
Love
she's
her.
yeah, she's fantastic. You two have something in common with like the video game stuff. So a lot of your drag, talk about the
Yes.
influence video games have had on your drag.
Sure. So I feel like, especially when I started drag, I feel like there was maybe more of a visual influence, and I feel like my visuals have changed, but not necessarily like, they're not like completely different. I feel like I've just, I've fine-tuned some things. But video games have always been like a big part of my life. So I feel like as somebody that was like always drawn to the female characters, that definitely influenced my drag and just that like the women that I like admired as a kid were like Princess Peach and like stuff like that. You know what I mean? And um like Pokemon gym leaders and stuff like that. So for me, um when I have the opportunity, I really like to pull video game references into my drag as well. Princess Peach is like why my lips used to be more this way around, and it was always like the Princess Peach lips or the Tom Hardy lips, depending on
Mhm.
um, what you prefer. But yeah, like that's one, and just I like to do a lot of like Pokemon inspired drag when I can. And yeah,
Yeah. What's the most notable Pokemon drag you've done?
um, like look specifically, I would say probably my Elisa cosplay that I did kind of recently for a show in San Francisco. Um, but like Pokemon related drag overall. During the pandemic, I had a birthday drag show that was like all Pokemon themed. And for anybody that was like around for drag culture in the pandemic, it was hard because everything was digital, but also like there was something very cool about being able to put together what were essentially like small movies or music videos, and you could have these casts that were not a cast that you could ever get together in the same club. So it's like you could pull from like all over the world to get in on a show. Um, and I had a bunch of really great performers that all did different Pokemon inspired performances. And I think I'll have to link you to it. I think some of it was muted because of like copyright, but the whole stream is still up on YouTube somewhere. And it
Mhm.
was really fierce.
Yeah. It might be on the same channel where that audition that you posted, like on your YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it if you found that, that's probably there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Well, we do some investigative journalism here. I was gonna embarrass
Gotcha,
you.
gotcha.
I was gonna embarrass you and watch your
Uh-oh.
audition video, but I think my computer will actually like fall apart if I like run more
Yeah,
than one
it's
thing.
probably for the best.
Maybe we'll link it. Like maybe we'll just like splice it into the interview.
Sure.
But it's not fun without your reaction or anything. But no,
Right. Yeah, no.
but my context with like Pokemon, it's really interesting because like I was really into it as a kid. Like, I think we're the same age based on my research and everything.
Sure,
So
probably.
yeah, so I the only context really I have is like the first 150 or 151 rather. And I kind of like just fell off of it. But like I'll play it like once in a while. And
Mhm.
like even buying this necklace, I was like, am I really that big of a Pokemon stand that I would get
Uh-huh.
something like this? But then I saw it and I was like, it's very sparkly.
And you had to.
Mm-hmm. And you actually got a chance to go to Japan to
Yes.
yeah, did you go to the Pokemon Center there?
Yeah, my partner and I went to Japan in April. And it was a lot of fun. It was crazy. It was my first time out of the country actually. So I got my passport just for that.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously it's a good thing to have, but there was never anything that I was like, oh, I need my passport. Um, and I forget how many, I lost track of how many of the Pokemon centers we went to, but um, I would say we definitely went to like 7 or 8 of them.
Oh
And they
wow.
all have pretty much the same thing. But it was just like, well, if we're over in this area and there is one, we might as well go.
Mhm.
You know? Why
Oh,
not?
oh yeah. I didn't even know there was like 7 or 8 of them. I thought there was just like
Yeah, because it's basically like their like store. So they
mm,
have them in like all the like major cities, and like different shopping malls and stuff.
yeah. And you're a big collector of the Pokemon plushes.
I am. I try not to. I when I was like younger and had less bills and more like just money to throw around, I bought a lot. And now that I am a responsible adult with lots of drag that takes up a lot of space in my home, I try not to buy as much.
Mhm.
But you know how it is.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was very bad at that. I'm very grateful I live with my mom, so I don't have to like pay rent or anything. But over the years, I've kind of stopped buying shit that, you know, ironic because I'm talking about this necklace and stuff like that. But like
Right.
I stopped buying random shit all, all the time
Yeah.
that I
I'm
just
like,
don't
yes,
really
it's
need.
fun in the moment, but like when I look back at this, am I going to be glad that I bought this? And I'm going to be like, why do I have this?
Mhm.
But it's that like moment,
Oh yeah,
that
you need it.
rush of buying it. Yeah,
Yeah, you need it in the moment, and your heart will.
exactly. That dopamine.
Oh, exactly. Going back to your drag. So, you mentioned your partner Omar. Is
Yes.
that yeah,
Yes.
aka
Yes.
Liz in drag? Is it?
Correct.
Yeah, you
Yes.
guys did drag together. Like you're drag powerhouse. So why don't you tell me a little bit about
Yes.
that? Because like you also do some shows together.
Sure. Yeah. So that is my partner in crime and my partner in life. And we have our own show that is going, it's been like 2.5 years that we've been doing it. It was monthly for the first 2 years, and now it's a little more sporadic because we changed venues. Um, but we do a show called Dress Code, which is a lot of fun. When we first got started doing drag in Pennsylvania, we did a show every month that was more of a party with a drag show instead of the drag show being the main focus. And what we always really liked about it was that the party was always themed, and so many people came out dressed up in theme, and there was costume contests and stuff like that. And it like I feel like it was a really great way of getting the audience and the community involved. Um, so when we started our show, we really wanted it to be something that would get people excited in a different way. Just because it was like an excuse to dress up. Like obviously, like if you're a drag performer, you're dressing up all the time. But there's so many people that go to the club and are big personalities but don't necessarily have the excuse to wear costumes
Mhm.
or anything like that. And so we really wanted to have something that not only inspired the audience to dress up, but also kind of pushed us out of our comfort zone. And it was like, okay, this month I have to come up with a new look. I have to like force myself to create something. Um, and that's been really fun. I feel like um, we've created a lot of like really cool memories and a lot of cool costumes and mixes that we wouldn't have made otherwise because of that.
Oh yeah. I love a good theme. Especially like a drag theme where everyone's like dressing up as certain characters and maybe sometimes the audience will participate. I've been a part of not literally in the sense, but like I've been to shows where it was themed and
Mhm.
No one really put a lot of effort into it, but it sounds like you guys really like hammer in the thematic elements of your shows.
Yeah, we try. It's hard. And like one of the hard things for us is like coming up with a theme because there's lots of themes that are like, okay, that's fun for drag. But then you're like, but is the audience going to participate? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like there is finding that balance of, okay, this crazy theme would be a lot of fun, but then we know either nobody's going to dress up or it's going to be hard to get a full cast that's all willing to do that. So we try and keep the themes sort of simple so that um, you can kind of go as big or as small as you want with the theme.
Oh, that's so cool. When was the last party?
The last one was in June, so very cliche, but we just did like pride themed. Um, and then the next one will be, it actually falls on my birthday next month. So the theme is just going to be pink, which again, very vague, but also like super easy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's there's no excuse not to dress up for that.
I'm
So
laughing. I'm laughing because like I'm just thinking about Thorgy Thor. Love pink.
love pink. People have been asking me, they're like, oh my God, what's the theme? And I just send them the screenshot of 4G.
It's
And
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if they get it, but that's all the
Uh,
clue they get.
yeah. The girls who get it,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You should see if Thorgy would like to come.
Maybe just like a video message
Yeah, a
that we play on
cameo,
the screens.
like a cameo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to go back to Liz here because I was reading an
Sure.
interview you guys did like with work.com. I think it was work.com.
Yes.
And you guys
Yes,
were
that sounds
talking
right.
okay. I think you were talking about how you put him in drag. So my question for you is who put you in drag? How did you get your start in drag besides being like, the
So
bedroom queen?
yeah, so getting started in drag, I think I mean, like most drag queens, I feel like my first time like stepping out was like Halloween. But it was like Halloween of my senior year, and it was like just a group of friends where like three or four girls dressed like guys and three or four of us boys like dressed as girls. But I don't really count that because that was like not even. So like my first real time like going out, like thinking I was giving some sort of drag was at a pride, but it was literally like Halloween wig. I think it was a Cleopatra wig. So just
Oh.
black, terrible, straight bangs, Halloween quality. And then a dress out of my mom's closet and the ugliest nude pumps you've ever seen from Target. And that was like, and I think I was out of contacts. So I think I was wearing like prescription glasses as well.
Mhm.
Um, but that was my like first time in drag. And like I said, I just had the three some tutorials online. It was like the same like couple people, um, and a big cheap eyeshadow palette and a dream.
Mhm. And you probably thought
That was
you probably thought you were like
oh
absolutely
oh
fierce.
I thought I was eating. And I look at the old pictures of me like out in public and I'm like, she was so brave.
Hmm. Yeah.
So brave.
You made it really easy to like find that old picture. Like I was because I follow
I
you on
don't yeah,
Instagram
I
too.
yeah. If you scroll far enough, you can find all kinds of stuff. If I weren't so lazy, I would clean out my Instagram and get rid of a lot of old stuff. But
Mhm.
alas, it's all there if you look hard enough.
Yeah. It's a nice time capsule, you know. Just
Thank you. Thank you.
humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings.
Hmm. So how did you end up putting Omar into drag? Like what was his because I think he was very against the idea, it sounded like, of
Yeah.
drag in general.
Yeah. So we were dating online and we met online. So before we were like in person, I had like done drag a little bit. It was like those beginnings, the prides, the like just okay, like this is fun. Let me kind of dip my toes into it. And then when he moved out east, he was like, I'm not into it. Like it's not for me. and I guess he just let me paint him the one night, and I created a monster. Um, and yeah, now he's beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, does it all, does hair, does everything. And I'm like, that's my fault.
Hmm. Your mother.
I guess.
Yeah.
A mother and a partner.
Yeah. Which is not entirely wrong. You do have three beautiful drag children as well. You're
Thank
the House of
you.
Bentley. Yeah. How did that
Yes.
come about?
Well, okay, so technically I have two daughters, and the other one's my mother.
Okay.
Um, but I use mother loosely because she's a mother figure. She's done nothing for me whatsoever. She has not raised me. She has not given me anything. She's a deadbeat mom. Um, and she does drag like once a year. But she's mom, and like she goes by like everyone calls her mom. So she's just mother. Um, but as far as my daughters go, I never wanted kids.
Mhm.
I've always said my tubes are tied. I'm not interested. It feels like such a commitment
Mhm.
and so much pressure. Um, and so I was never interested until I met my first daughter, Manny Petty. And we just like hit it off right away. She came out one night. I don't even think I was in drag. I met her boyfriend on Twitter and we like hit it off a little bit. And I was like, you guys should come out sometime. And they came out, and then Manny and I hit it off right away. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I do drag too." She had just kind of moved to Sacramento, so she hadn't really done any drag there. But she was like, "Oh, I do drag too," and I was like, "Okay, show me." We talked about it, and then she started coming out. She like came out to dress code, won the costume contest, and just started coming out more. And I don't know, I finally felt that motherly instinct for the first time. Um, and I worked up the courage. It was a lot of back and forth, but I worked up the courage and I asked her to be a Bentley, and the rest is history. She's so fierce. And then about I don't know how long ago, not not a year ago, less than a year ago, I asked my second daughter Emmy to be a Bentley as well, and she's still getting started. She has started performing more regularly. She just quit her job, so I said, okay, now you have to do drag all the time. Um, and she's super fierce too. She's still finding her thing, but she's amazing as well.
I love that. And what about mom? Like, because you mentioned that she's
What
not.
about mom?
Yeah.
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
how did you meet her?
Mom and I went to high school together, so we
Oh.
are longtime friends. And when I was doing bedroom drag, she was doing bedroom drag with me. So actually, funny story. When we were all too young to go out, we would get in full drag. We would get in full drag and go to Applebee's. We would go to Applebee's for half price apps, and we called it Dragglebees. And we would go out looking. I'll send. Well, I mean, you can find pictures if you look, but I can send you some. And we would just go to Applebee's, sit in our drag, eat half price boneless wings and wonton tacos, and that was our drag. So mom was a an Applebee's girl.
Wow. That is so
Yeah,
fierce.
yeah.
Like, I didn't like.
It's yeah.
I'm I'm surprised no one's taken Dragglebees before, like as a show, as a concept.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Applebee's, if you're out there, if anybody is an Applebee's franchisee and you
Mm.
need a drag queen to represent you,
Yeah.
hit me up.
Yeah, you can reach out to Bijou during Pride and then just not support her afterwards.
Please. Applebee's Pride campaign would be a full circle moment for sure.
That'd be crazy. But but it's so cunt though, because it's like, oh, like here we are, we're minors essentially. Like I don't know exactly how old you are, but like not old enough to
Yeah.
go to the clubs. But like we're gonna go out and drag and we don't care what anyone
Yeah.
else that says. So we're just gonna go to
Yeah.
Applebee's.
We were
What?
so bold. I like looking back, I'm kind of like, I can't believe I did that, especially in a small town.
Mhm.
Like, how did I not get hate crimed? But
Yeah. You most definitely would have this time, like in this.
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
today
Mhm,
for sure.
mhm. But why
Um,
Applebee's though? That's
okay,
what we're wondering.
so um, I think we just did Applebee's because one of the first times that I actually went out and drag was to a Pride fundraiser that was at an Applebee's, and they did like a pancake breakfast. So it
Oh,
was like before Applebee's was open, they like let the like Pride committee or whatever use the restaurant,
oh,
and it just like instilled in me. I was like, okay, Applebee's is an ally. This is a safe space.
oh wow. Um, for me, Applebee's, it's so funny about Applebee's because I'm from Saudi Arabia, and there was an Applebee's there, and Applebee's to me, to like my family, that was a fancy restaurant. Like that
I
was
mean, to a lot
you.
of people, it is.
I guess so, but like I guess we thought, like at least I thought it was a high class,
Mhm.
pinkies up, like, oh, we're going to Applebee's. This is very bougie right now.
I
And
can't
it's
believe
like,
that you're implying that it's not.
I mean, I guess depending on who you take. I mean, like
So snobby.
if you and I go, I'll treat you to Applebee's.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that.
I would like a bottomless margarita
Mhm.
and boneless wings, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I went to Applebee's. I think it's been a couple years. Have you gone recently? Like, is it still good?
I was there not super recently, but like a couple months ago, like randomly, because they had like dollar margaritas or something.
Mhm,
And Emmy and another friend of ours were like, let's go to Applebee's. And I was like, okay. So we went at like, I feel like 3 in the afternoon and got margaritas and wings. And it
mhm.
was fine.
Yeah,
It was okay.
that sounds
Nothing
like
to write home about.
what Applebee's, Chili's, all those places. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. It does what it needs to do.
Right.
Mhm. Going back to your drag, you said you've done drag on the East Coast, right? Like, to start, just to correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where were you performing exactly? Like, which part of the East Coast were you living in at the time?
Sure. So I grew up in Pennsylvania. So my family lives about an hour and a half outside of Philly. Um, which sounds exciting maybe, but like an hour and a half outside of Philly is like farms. Lots of
Mhm,
farms. Um, so when I first started doing drag out there and like being in the club setting, um, there was a show. I think it was like the club that it's at is no longer there, but I think they're still doing it elsewhere. And the show that I got my start in was called High Fever. That was that like party that had a drag show in it.
mhm,
And that was like a once a month show. Um, so I did that, and if I was lucky, I got to do like a little number at like the only gay bar in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is also not there anymore. It was called the Tally Ho, and I would sometimes be there like once a month, but there wasn't a lot of drag opportunity there. So I was used to, yeah, doing drag once or twice a month if I was lucky. Um, yeah, I feel like my impression of it when I was living there was that there was a lot of drag in like the court system, if you're
mhm,
familiar at all. Um, so it was a lot of like really fierce old school queens.
mhm,
But I felt like a lot of the, at least like from my perspective as somebody that wasn't in the scene, it seemed to me like that was where a lot of the drag was. So as being like somebody that wasn't involved in that, I felt like I there weren't as many opportunities to really do drag.
Oh yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh no, absolutely. We have a court system here too. The Imperial Sovereign Court is part of Spokane, so I'm very familiar. There, it sounds very similar to our area. So Spokane, Washington, is on the east side of Washington State,
Okay.
and yeah, the Imperial Sovereign Court is, you know, they do a lot of the drag here. It's led by Nova Kane. Um,
Okay.
well, I don't know if she leads it. I don't really. It's gonna be embarrassing because I'm like, nominated for an award in Spokane. and stuff like that. But I
And
don't
you're
really
spitting all of these facts that are not true.
exact.
Novocaine's sitting at home listening to the pod, and she's like, "What
Oh yeah,
are you talking about?"
she'd probably be really pissed off. But no, it's I think it's really dope what they do. I mean, like they do a lot of really cool things as far as like
Yeah.
activism and like, putting on shows and giving artists like their recognition. We've had Fanny DeVito who was I forget exactly his title because it's been a bit, but he's a drag king and he got Mr. Gay P Flag of Spokane, which was like
Oh, that's
really
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah. So we have a little like, we have title holders, we have all this stuff. And I think
Mhm.
that's really interesting, especially for such a small town in comparison to Western Washington, where, you got all the cool people are over there. It feels
Right,
like.
right.
But no, I think we're doing okay here on the east side. But I'll be honest, I love going to the west side like once in a while. I'm actually going
Mhm.
next week to see Bosco and Yvie Oddly, which that'll be a lot of fun.
How fun.
At Queer Bar. Have you ever been to Queer Bar?
No, I haven't been. I've only been up to Seattle that one time.
hmm
And it was not a short trip, but it was a busy trip.
hmm
So I didn't get out to Queer Bar.
Yeah, you would love Queer Bar. I think it's a really cool venue.
It looks like fun from what I see like on Instagram and stuff.
hmm Yeah. Well, hopefully you do come one day, or you come to Spokane. That'd be kind of sick.
Listen, you're not selling it very well.
It's oh man, I don't
So
want to
no
share my.
promises.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like we could probably hang out, but like here's the thing. I think people who live in Spokane know how shitty it is sometimes. Um, even like it's funny because Georges and like the All Star people like were performing like an hour away from Spokane, and Georges was
Mhm.
like, "What's there to do in Spokane?" Like on Twitter. And I was like, "There's nothing, girl. just just go to bed."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. I mean, there's some cool things if you like nature. You know what I mean? Like if you like going on hikes,
Sure.
walking in
Sure.
nature and all of that stuff like that,
Yeah.
there's cool stuff there. If you
Okay.
like craft beer, IPAs.
Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Anyway, let's go back to you here.
Sure.
Uh what was I gonna say? Oh, there's another thing like I feel like yeah, what we haven't talked about yet. You're also an illustrator. You do a lot of
I
illustrations.
am.
I love your illustrations. Can you tell me about
Thank
so
you.
do you put a lot of your video game like anime like inspiration into your illustrations when you draw them? Because they're very like graphic, like
Mhm.
almost comic booky, uh
Yeah.
bubblegum pop, I would say. Like this a lot of them were. So
Sure.
if you want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Yeah, so I've always been somebody who's like drawn and painted. So um I like took a lot of art classes in high school and then went to school for art. So I have an art degree.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I mean drawing has always kind of just been like my first love, and I feel like it influenced my drag and especially in like college when I was like really like finding my like footing with like my love for drag. Like drag really influenced my art as well. um so like these days I mostly do portraits. I don't really draw unless it's like a person most of the time, just because like to me that's what is the most fun to draw. Like being able to like capture somebody's likeness while also um I don't want to say like exaggerating it, but like capturing their likeness without it being. I've never been somebody that's like into like photorealistic art either. Like I think that's so impressive and amazing that people can do that, but for me I'm like it's more about like being more expressive and colorful and stuff like that. So that's really like what I go for with my art. And like you said, it's a lot of like it's very like graphic and definitely like comic-y inspired and like manga inspired and just like very like poppy, like very like bright colors, stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of your pictures like shown up like throughout the
Oh,
video.
perfect.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
people get to have a look at that. But what's one of your favorites? I know that's probably a hard question for you, but
Yeah, so last September I did my first, like I've always been somebody that's drawn and painted, but I've never done like a art show like that was just me. But last September I did a show with our local Pride Center. So it was like all my art up, some stuff for sale, some stuff not, but just like lots of like big paintings and prints and stuff like that. And one of my favorites from that was I did a big painting of Divine that I really
oh,
liked.
okay.
And that one I did sell, but the one like painting from the whole set, because I was like, realistically, I'm like, if I keep them, they're just gonna sit around. I was like, I'd rather somebody else have them. The only one that I kept for myself, and I actually don't have it, it's still at the Pride Center because they've just had it on display. They were like, well, if you don't mind, we'll just keep it up until you want it back. Um, but it's a painting of Grace Jones that I really, really liked. And that
Oh.
was the one that I was like, okay, I do want that back. And speaking of, I need to go get that sometime.
Is it
Now
Grace
that I'm
Jo-
in my new place, I'm like, oh, I need some art to hang up. So I need to go get that.
Yeah. With Grace Jones, like what outfit did you draw of her? Like I know I'm vaguely familiar with Grace Jones. Like I know who she is, like how popular she is.
Yeah.
There's one.
It was inspired by one of her album covers. So it's very much like flat top and like blazer.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
I'd have to look up. I don't remember which, or I think it's an album cover. I don't know. I forget what I can picture the reference image. Um, but yeah, I like exaggerated it. She's got like a really long neck,
Okay.
and a cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
Yeah.
It's pretty fierce.
Do you do commissions?
I do. I don't do a lot of like commission like paintings just because like unless you're local, it's a pain in the butt to like get a painting to somebody. But I really have grown to love like digital illustration because that's so easy for like to share. I'm like, here you go. And I it's like nice to kind of work on like anytime, any place. So I mostly do like digital portrait commissions, but every once in a while when I get to do like a painting for somebody, that's so much fun.
Oh yeah. I might have to like get into it because I really do like I looked at a few
Absolutely. Hit me
I
up.
I looked at a few of yours and it was like, dang, I feel like lately I've been very like what's the right word? I've been loving my body a lot more. So like
Hmm.
I've been liking the way my face and everything has been shaping. I've been losing a lot of weight and exercising
Yeah.
and trying to be healthier. So like I've been liking my face a little bit more. So I'm like the narcissism in me is like I need a portrait of my face. And I feel
I
like
feel that. I feel that.
that's my self. You actually did a portrait, like a self-portrait, that I
Hmm.
thought was really cute too. Like you out of
Oh
drag.
yeah.
I think so.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. It looked really nice. I liked it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, what video games are you inspired by now? Is it still Pokemon and you know, Mario, or is there any new video games that you're like, I need to do that in drag right now?
Sure. I don't. I feel like a lot of the times the video game influences don't really like show up in my drag like in the forefront visually anyway. But I like to do like video game like inspired like drag numbers every once in a while. And yeah, that usually leans towards like the ones that people are gonna know more. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if it's like too obscure of a reference or like whatever, like if you go to the club as like, I mean, it's whatever. Do what you want. Do
Mhm.
it for you, not for everybody else. But if you go to the club as like an obscure character and nobody gets it, it's like, but so usually I do save it for like theme nights when I know that like people in the crowd like know what they're coming for and are gonna the girls that get it will be there. Um, but as far as like I'm trying to think, yeah, like my Pokemon drag numbers have been a lot of fun. Um, I did like a Pauline look and did Jump Up Superstar at a video game theme show that was a lot of fun. Because as soon as I heard that song for the first time, I was like, that's draggy.
Mhm.
Um, one of my favorite like digital drag numbers was Tingle from Legend of Zelda.
Oh,
That was a lot of fun.
That's it.
Um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's not something that like you necessarily see in like my everyday visuals, but the inspiration's definitely there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like looking for something new to inspire me to do something different.
Okay. So I guess the question is then when you go to a Bijou Bentley show, what can people expect?
Sure. So 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get something that's either disco or like disco inspired. Like that's really my go-to. Um, if I'm like stuck and I the show starts in an hour and I have no idea what I'm gonna do, I like to do a lot of Kylie. I'm a Kylie girly. Um, I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Like those are kind of two of my like go-to. You're gonna see that. I'm not really a dancer. I know how to move my body in a way that may or may not be visually appealing to the audience. Um, but you will not see, not from me anyway. You will not see backflips. You will not see splits.
Mhm.
Maybe someday. But as of right now, um, it it tends to be a lot of walking around and pointing and hair flips and sometimes a high kick. Props. I love a prop. Um, yeah,
Mhm. I think
that's what
it's
you're getting.
yeah, I think the best drag is like it's not necessarily for me whether they're like the best dancer or whatever. Like whoever can like capture my time, you know? Like the person on the stage has to like be enjoying themselves and
Right.
like having a good time and like you know like I get like I feel the vibes from like the
Right. You
performer
want to
like
feel like the good energy from them.
yeah, and
I feel that.
if they're uncomfortable like I'm not gonna feel comfortable. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, the death drops and stuff. It reminded me I like trying to figure out like everything hosts usually say, like when they're
Uh-huh.
introducing like a
Yeah.
performer, like, oh yeah, this person they do flips and kicks and death drops. And when you mentioned that, I was like, I just remember like especially like some of the old queens, like if you see me do a death drop, call 911. And like every play,
Right.
every time,
That would be
every
me.
every show I've ever been to, like that has like an older queen, um, like always says that, and I just like laugh because I'm like, that's like it feels like home, you know,
Yeah. No,
that
it doesn't
joke.
matter where you go. Drag queens have the same like 5 lines.
Hmm.
You're gonna hear them at every show.
Th-
And that's what
that
makes drag so special.
that one and I don't think you guys were loud enough. Are you ready to see some drag?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Double
every
that volume, please.
time. um, I'm curious about your eyes though, because in some of your
Sure.
older photos, you didn't have like the white graphic liner, which oh there we go. Get up
Uh-huh.
close.
Yeah, let me
There we go. So
up close and personal.
when did the white graphic liner start coming in? Because I see that in a lot of your photos.
Yeah. I'd have to like actually go back and look, but I want to say I've had it pretty consistently for probably the last like 7 or 8 years at least, which shows you how long I've been doing this.
Mhm.
But like I feel I have had it for like most of my drag journey. I feel like it's definitely changed in like size. It like if I look at pictures from like even like 2 3 years ago, they used to be a lot bigger.
Mhm.
And I like they're big by some people's standards, but like compared to what my eyes used to look like, I think they're kind of small now. But it's one of those things where it's like I don't feel like myself without it. And every once in a while I'll try and like not do it. And I'm like, let me get better with. I
Mhm.
just like the like big, I don't want to say like anime, but like the big like eyes. I feel like I also have like a long face. So making the eyes bigger makes my face look less long.
I don't know about that,
Because
but
sometimes if I don't have them, I'm like, oh my God, my face looks so long.
yeah.
I'm giving horse face.
I mean, like I think I've seen people with horse face, and I wouldn't say that you have that long of a face.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think like that's really interesting because like you have a really good grasp on like your brand, you know? Because like, yeah, I think right now anyway, like if you talk about Bijou Bentley, I would say like, yeah, the eyeliner, the white eyeliner, like the big eyes, you know, the bubble gum, like, you know, this, like that.
Right, right,
This,
exactly.
yeah, you designed this logo, right?
I designed it. I'm not really a graphic design person, so it was
Mhm,
like my sketch and I knew what I wanted. But I have a good friend, Aaron, that has done a lot of like different graphic things for me, and he's done like my kind of standard logo that I've used for the last couple years.
mhm.
Um, so he's good at like words and design. So I go to him when I need stuff.
That's fair. Um, Going back to the brand then, where did this shirt come from? You know what I mean? Like it is to me, I don't know what it is, but it feels iconic, you know? Like
Right,
like this
right,
feels like if someone like who's Bijou Bentley, I was like, this is the shirt. Like this is her.
right.
So like where did this
Um,
shirt come from? Or like the other stuff that you put out?
sure. So, with merch, I mean, I'd like to think I've always had like different cute things. Um, but especially lately, like for me, I tend to go towards merch that is more not the same as everybody else, which
Mhm.
might sound shady, but like with so many queens, and like I'm glad they keep these artists paid, but I feel like they go to like the same artist. You're like, okay, I'm a drag queen and I want a shirt. So here's the three different people I can go to, and they're amazing at what they do. They know what they're doing. They know, obviously, like people know to go to them, but I there can only be so many drag queen shirts that all look kind of the same. Um, and I like that with that shirt, like, yes, it's in your face, my name's right there, but it's like, I don't want to say subtle because it's definitely not subtle,
Yeah.
but it's not like drag queen shirt, which is
Mhm.
fine, but I don't know. And it was inspired by, I think it was somebody had posted a picture that was like the back of somebody at like a concert or a music festival, and their shirt said, "I like Kylie Minogue and sucking cock." And I was
Oh,
like, "That's
okay.
so fierce." And my friend got me that shirt for my birthday, actually. But I was like, I want to do that, but with Bijou, because one thing about Bijou fans is they like to suck cock, and if they don't, they know that it's part of the brand and they're okay embracing it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like
Because
you don't really have to like sucking cock. You just have to embrace the brand.
oh yeah, I love sucking cock and I love men, and they're not mutually
Right.
exclusive, you know?
Sure.
Because you know, like trans men and all that. So
Right, of
that's where that comes from.
course.
So, um,
There don't have to be any cocks involved.
mhm,
It's more about the love for Bijou Bentley. The sucking cocks is secondary.
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I get it. I love the shirt. It is a little like it was a lot like sluttier, like I guess like the tank top version
Uh-huh.
than I thought it was.
The
I
tank top is slutty.
Yeah, it's very slutty, which I appreciate actually.
But you
But
know what? It adds to the vibe. You've
yeah,
got your slutty tank top and you're looking to suck cock.
exactly. Take it to the gym. I'm sure there's
Like,
plenty of people there.
oh, I bet. I bet.
Oh yeah. Especially in the steam room that we have there.
Right. Cruising in the Bijou Bentley merch.
Oh, you know I'd be
Who's doing it
posting.
like you?
Yeah, you know I'd be posting about it, and I'll like DM you first thing if that happens.
Please. I want to hear all about it.
um, you know, the one thing I did forget to ask you, like at the top of the show, where did you come up with Bijou Bentley? Because Bijou is not a word. Like I saw a restaurant that said Bijou, and I was like, wow, I guess
Uh-huh.
that's a word. That's a word that that's a new word to me.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, like starting drag, and this is kind of like topical because I was just giving somebody this advice. And when I started drag, I didn't know I was going to be doing it as long as I did. I didn't know I was going to be, you know, whatever. But I wanted a name that was unique and that I hadn't heard on another queen. Um, because I mean, with some like pun names, there's like a million drag queens with that name. You know what I mean? Or like something similar. So I was like, I want something unique. Um, I wanted something with a B because my boy name's Ben. And I was like, I just want it to be like, for me, I was like, I want the drag name and the boy name to sound kind of similar. Um, and honestly, I think I was like on like a baby name page, look at all the B names. I'm like, uh-huh, okay, no, no. But when anybody asks, I always tell them, if you're familiar with the like anime cartoon Hamtaro,
Oh, yeah.
which is about hamsters,
Mhm.
um, there's a little French girl hamster, and her name's Bijou.
Okay.
And Bijou is French for jewel. Um, so that's me. I'm like low key named after a hamster, but like only if you know. And then Bentley just was like whatever, but it's like a nice car, so
Hmm.
it makes me sound, rich or something. I don't know.
You're not
But it
wrong.
just stuck. It was like I was making my little drag Facebook account, and I was like, if something better comes up, I'll change it, and it just kind of stuck.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. That Hamtaro is like a very deep cut because like I
Right.
recall seeing that I just recall as a kid seeing it, but like dubbed in Arabic. Um
Okay.
so I don't remember
Yeah, of
Bijou,
course.
but like I for some reason I have the Arabic version of that song. It's stuck in my
I
head
love
like
that.
for
I
years. And
love that. I'm gonna go look it up after this.
yeah, هل تعرفون من هو همترو? Like that's all I know.
See, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Do you want to like know something about me like when it came to anime as a kid? Um,
Absolutely.
so a lot of the anime that we got from in Saudi Arabia was dubbed in Arabic. And I was very westernized as a kid because my mom's white and American, like my dad's Saudi. But I was around my mom a lot, so she introduced us to Disney, Rugrats, Nickelodeon stuff. So whenever the anime stuff came on, I just assumed those were Arabic cartoons because they spoke Arabic. I didn't know that they
Right.
were like Japanese and that they
Uh-huh.
spoke Japanese. So for the longest time, I like poo-pooed it because I was like, I don't understand what they're saying. They're speaking in Arabic. These are Arabic cartoons, like Digimon. Well, not Digimon, but like what was the other Detective Conan? If you're familiar with that
Uh-huh.
anime,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, that was a very popular like Japanese show that's still ongoing, surprisingly. Like
Yeah.
how long can this little kid be like stuck in this
Right. Grow
like
up.
he can't. That's like I guess the issue with that show. But like I just always thought it was Arabic, so I always poo-pooed anime because these were Arabic cartoons. I didn't know what they're saying. Um, but I grew up and you know I do like anime sometimes. I don't watch it as religiously, but I would say I'm a fan of like My Hero Academia, but like the first two seasons. I know there's
Yeah.
more, but
I got cornered at the club last week, and somebody was like, "Oh, you like anime? Tell me all your animes." And I was like, "I only watch like two things." I was like it's not, you know, I'm not like this big hardcore fan. I'm like, I don't have time to watch stuff in the first place.
Mhm.
And anime, I feel like so many of them are like, here's 100 seasons to watch. And I'm like, I was like, I watch JoJo and I watch One Piece, and that's it. That's all I have the attention span for.
Yeah, I
But I
watched.
like it. Like I'm familiar. Like I recognize things, but I'm like, I don't know anything about it.
I've seen 500 episodes of One Piece. In a
You've got me beat.
Oh really? Like I got up
I
to
gotta get
where
back into it. I gotta get back into it. I fell off a little bit.
yeah, I got up to Brock. Is it Brock the skeleton,
Um,
the sexy skeleton guy?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who you mean. I don't know if that's his name.
Okay,
I don't think so.
okay, because I know
But I know what you're
Frankie.
talking about. I
Yeah, I
know.
know.
Listen, I'm a fake fan. I'm not that far.
Yeah. But yeah, I've watched 500 and I know there's like what 1500 episodes or something like that.
Something like that. So many.
Mhm. That's why like I was surprised with like the anime. Like not the anime, the live action show that they have on Netflix.
Mhm.
I was like, are they just gonna keep going? Like when does the show end?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was fierce though.
They're
Like
filming the second season though.
they're getting on it. and they're the guy who plays Luffy is like I think everyone in that cast is kind
So
of cute.
cute.
Yeah, everyone in there is really cute. So, um, let's see what else can we talk about. Yeah, you were on Tumblr's Drag Race, and there was another web
Sure.
show. Yeah, let's keep talking about something that you did like 10 years
Yes,
ago.
let's
Love
know.
it. But you were also part of another like a online show. I forget what it's called. Into the Drag or something like
Um,
that.
yes. So
Was
Into
that
the Draglands was
Draglands?
a
Okay.
local, it was local here. Um, so like we did all the filming in SAC.
Mhm.
That was it was like a pandemic project, really. So it was put together by a friend of mine, local queen Helen Heels. Um, and she just wanted to do like she's also she loves competitions. She loves game like she loves playing games. She loves um she's got like a monthly competition that she does that's like a drag show. But this was like okay, there were however many of us and it was going to be, like a full on like somebody's eliminated every week and there's a winner kind of thing. Um but because it was the pandemic and we were like still social distancing, basically what it was is like she got permission from the club to like have us there. And it was kind of like Drag Race where they're like, okay, here's your packet of all the things you need to do. Like you need a look that is this, this, this. This is one of the challenges, basically. And it was all pre-recorded in that like they recorded all of our performances. So like, okay. So like the one challenge was like dance focused. And so like you'd perform in this empty room, filmed, and then that's it. And then you go change and do your next one. And then it was put together after the fact where like they had a panel of judges that sat down and watched all the videos and talked about them. And then it kind of like was, weekly elimination. But it was really cool because like you filmed all 7 or 8 of your challenges and you could film them in any order.
Oh,
But then they were put together after the fact.
interesting.
So it was fun. It was weird. And she ended up doing a second cycle that was filmed normally, where like the judges sat there and watched everything happen. And I feel like that obviously works better because if you're given critiques, you can improve on them. Whereas like with us, it was like, oh, I don't like that. Well, too bad. It's been 2 weeks ago and I can't do anything about it now. Um, but it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I didn't win, but you know,
Yeah. You
it was so
wanted
fun.
I've never seen this show before. Like I only knew about it like a couple days
Uh-huh.
ago, but you're a winner in my heart. So
It's
you
kind of
should.
a fun watch, especially like if you're like for local performers that maybe weren't around during that time, like to see. Because like if you know everybody, it's more it's easier to like get invested in it. But it was cool, and then we got to do our dramatic little reunion and stuff like that. So
Okay. Well,
I
I
don't know if I
guess
would do it again, but I enjoyed it.
well, I think this is a good segue because I guess we're surprisingly we're getting towards the end of the show. It's been an hour. But I guess the one question I have is where do you see yourself now? Because like you've been doing drag for 11 years. Like it's do you want to be on television? Like what's like the next step for Bijou Bentley?
That's a tough question because I don't really know. I really like what I'm doing right now. I really enjoy having a show of my own. I'm very grateful that I get to travel with my drag. I've performed all over the country. I got to perform for the first time out of the country this year. I'm hoping to do more of that. Um, I don't really see television for myself um, as much as like my friends encourage me and tell me like how fun that would be and how amazing the opportunities would be. I think for me, I don't want to say like never say never, but with like Drag Race specifically, I'm kind of less interested every year, just in that I feel like it becomes more and more of like the machine and how they just kind of are like, okay, here's our next batch. And then, okay, here. You know what I mean? Like it,
Mhm.
not to like, you know, shit on anybody because like that's still like an amazing thing. And like if my mental health was not down here, maybe I would want that. But bitch, I would not be able to handle it. But like the opportunities are still so amazing. But now you're competing with 150, 200 like alumni. You know what I mean? I feel like it had more of a like mystique when it was like, okay, there's like 40 Rue girls, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So it is very cool. I mean, I still watch, but I'm less and less interested in like putting myself through that mentally. I
Oh
would
yeah.
read every mean comment. I would, first of all, I don't know if I could survive locked away in a hotel room without my phone,
Mhm.
which is terrible. But also, phone or no phone, I don't want to be locked in a hotel room. I would
Yeah.
spiral. I am
Yeah.
unwell.
You have to buy just like the other girls, you have to buy one of those DVD players like
Oh my God.
with the screen
Yeah.
on just to watch porn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would be stroking it. That would be the only thing keeping me going.
Oh yeah. What do you think they do in there? Like in those hotel rooms?
Oh,
Like
I don't,
oh,
well, okay. And it's weird because, like, I feel like sometimes it feels like they can, like, take their things they're working on and work on them. And then sometimes I'm like, you've just got, like, I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I'm also like, are you just doing your choreo and practicing your lip syncs? Like, it's wild.
mhm.
Bitch, I would be sleeping, watching porn, and ordering room service. And they'd
No,
be like, Bijou, why don't you know any of your lines for the acting challenge?
it's like
Sorry, girl. What can I tell you? I was watching porn and eating room service all night.
love that. That would be
Not,
fierce.
I'm not cut out. I'm not cut out for
Yeah.
it.
I That's understandable. I mean, there's this whole conversation right now about Chapel Roan, um, with how her level of stardom, like how she's
Yeah.
not really like, I don't want to say like not handling well, but like it's getting to her, like just how much exposure she's had, like
Yeah.
with like people in the street and stuff like that. And she's not able to handle it. So I would be surprised if like, someone like you, like, or even some of these other drag queens, like they don't really
Yeah.
understand like how crazy Rue girls are, especially like when you're on the
Yeah. It's a
receiving end.
lot. And it's like, yeah. I mean, it changes your life one way or another.
Hmm.
And like, I don't know. I've also seen where like, I feel like it ruins drag for people.
Hmm.
And I don't want that either. You know what I mean? I don't want to go on TV and make a fool of myself or like look like an idiot. And then I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Hmm.
Um, but also, yeah, no, I was just talking about the Chapel Roan stuff with somebody the other day, and I'm like, I get it. It's
Hmm.
like you work so hard and you think this is what you want, and then you're thrown into it, and you're like, wait, this is actually too much. But it's one of those things like you can't have like I don't know. I feel like you can't have the crazy success and like the obsessed fans without having the like obsessed fans. Like you need the obsessed fans to like be the successful, amazing artist, but also they're crazy and they're in your business and they
Yeah.
want to know what you're doing 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to be the girl that like every time I'm on Twitter and I post anything, 1,000 um Twitter accounts with icons that are other drag race girls are like commenting on everything I post. Bitch, I don't want that.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's
I
horrible. I hate that.
No, I get it. Like I just like every time I see that, like even me, I'm not even like just as part of the fandom and all that. Like I just see those profiles. I'm like, this is wild. Like this is
You're right.
especially like the way they talk to them sometimes. It's just like it gets pretty crazy from those
I'm
accounts.
like, now,
Mhm.
no. A friend of mine posted and she was like, do not interact with my tweets if your picture is a drag queen that is not you. And I'm
Facts.
like, that's a very good point.
Yeah. That's
No offense to those kids, because if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but I
yeah.
don't see that.
I just don't take them seriously. Like even if they're right, they're wrong. I'm
No,
just like,
it's too much. It's too much.
mhm. So
Don't
overall,
hide
then,
behind the profile picture of somebody else when you're saying these mean things to other people.
exactly. So overall, you're pretty content, Bijou. Like just
I think I'm good where I'm at. I would love like I do still have a boy job that I'm very lucky in that I don't work a lot at my I work a lot. I feel like I work a lot more in drag than I do at my boy job. Um, and I could probably be in a place where I don't have a boy job at all. But I guess that is kind of my eventual goal to be doing this,
mhm,
to just be this 24/7. Um, and like I said, I want to travel more. I want to do more drag out of town. I love the drag here, but there is something very special about being the out of town guest. I think that there's an allure to it.
mhm.
Um, so I'm just hoping to travel more and do um, more cool things.
Yeah, you posted about it on your Instagram, like that you wanted to see
Yes.
more places.
Yeah, I really wanna do one of my best friends moved to Houston for school about a year ago and I haven't been out there yet. Um and now I'm like waiting for winter because everyone says it's so hot and miserable until the winter. So I really want to do Houston soon. Um I haven't been to Chicago in like 4 years or something like that. I would love to get back to Chicago. Chicago drag is so fierce. Um yeah, those are like I have a couple places that I want to visit. Those are like my two that have been like I've been needing to do it and I just have been procrastinating. But
Yeah. No room in your heart for Spokane, huh?
um maybe I'll come back up to Seattle and you can meet me there.
That is that is totally fair.
Let's go to Queer Bar.
Yes. Oh, you should actually go to Unicorn too. Like, have you so
Okay.
Unicorn's another venue there that it's very carnival theme. They have a lot of
Okay, that
it's
sounds like
very
fun.
it's very carnival-y. Meatball knows about it. You could probably like when if you see her, you could talk
Okay.
about it. But like it's a pretty fierce venue. It's in that same area as like Capitol Hill. Um, I go
Okay.
there as often as I can, but that's another place. But Queer Bar is also fierce. The host Jane Doe, she's also from Spokane, which we kind of like bond over that.
Okay. But
So
she got out.
she got out. She did, and she always like every time I see her, she's like, "We need to get you out of there." I'm like, ah, "It's money. Can you
Yeah.
pay? Can you
No.
pay? Can I like live in your house? Like
Right.
just in the
Right.
cupboard."
Easier said than done.
Mhm. Well, Bijou, we're at the end of the show. We have our lightning round questions. Are you
Okay.
ready to experience that?
I think I'm ready.
All right. It's a series of 5 questions I like to ask us each and every week. They're fun. They're not so quick because we'll probably still talk about them forever.
Okay.
Sigourney did roast
Okay.
me on that. I like mentioning it because I was just like, she was like, why do you call it a lightning round if it's not a lightning round? And I'm like,
Right.
that's valid, but I've been doing this for 4 years and that's what I've just been calling them.
Yeah, it's just a tradition at this point.
All right. So, question number one, what would be your perfect day or describe a perfect day?
Oh my gosh. Not having to do anything. Maybe getting to lay by the pool. Warm but not like disgustingly hot. Um, but also like I love rain. Like if I can sit at home and not have to leave the house, like I don't really care for driving in the rain. But if I can just like it's nice enough to have the windows open and it's pouring and I have nothing to do, maybe smoke, order like takeout. That sounds amazing too.
Yeah. What kind of downpour do you like? Do you like it like really, really
Oh,
downpour
bitch,
or
I want it. I want flood warnings. I
Mhm.
want roads closed.
Yeah, you want the come clean Hillary Duff special?
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
Let the rain fall down and
yeah
break my dreams.
that album really Metamorphosis like that did something to me as a kid. Like I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
what.
she knew what she
Maybe
was doing when she put that out.
she put it out and then she didn't make a banger after that. I think.
No.
Yeah. She just like, here it is, guys.
But justice for Sparks,
With
as
Sparks.
the Twitter gays love to say. You don't know Sparks by Hillary Duff?
I see. I listen to only Metamorphosis. Like, I'm not familiar with. Is that
It's new. It's not. It's not new because it's probably like 3 years old at least. but
Okay.
it's fierce. You have to
Oh,
listen to it after this.
okay. I
And I
will
feel like
listen.
every like couple months on Twitter, there's somebody saying nobody, nobody put any respect on Sparks. And it's like, okay, we get
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but it is fierce.
And I think that's me. I didn't really respect that.
Yeah, you are who they're talking about.
Exactly. Um, question number two. Yeah, this is ironic because we were talking about music. What's a song that describes your life right now?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. Wait, I'm gonna go. I have to. I'm gonna look at like what I've been listening to recently.
Yes, do it.
Music is hard for me because as I don't know if this is like a universal drag experience, but when people ask me like what I'm listening to, it's always like whatever I'm trying to learn the words to.
That's fair. I
Um,
I learned
okay,
recently.
I'm gonna say my song. I don't even know if the word like I might read the words, the lyrics later, and be like that actually does not have to do with my life. But I'm gonna say "Joyride" by Kesha.
Okay. Is that one of her
I'm
newer
looking for a
ones?
joyride. That's her like newest single.
Okay. See, I haven't listened to that yet.
You don't know any music, huh? What are you
Well,
listening to?
so here's the thing with me and
You
music.
don't
I
know
learned,
Sparks? You don't know Joyride?
well, listen, like the way I listen to music is not normal. I don't think I
Okay.
enjoy music like the way most people do. Like
So you
put it
hate
on the
music.
radio.
Got it. Okay.
I listen to one song and I'm hyper fixated on that one song. Like
Okay.
recently,
I
because
get
I
that.
watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm listening to Like a Prayer by Madonna. Like,
Okay.
and I'm listening to that
And that's it.
20. Yeah, that's it. I think I might be autistic. Just a
I
little
was
bit.
gonna say, like, I didn't want to diagnose you, but that's giving tism for
Yeah,
sure.
I probably have undiagnosed autism, but I've never gone around to
Don't
like
we
actually,
all?
yeah. Yeah, especially like people like us,
Yeah.
but like people who grew up like where I don't know if that was your case anyway, but in my house, like mental illness was like, oh no, that's
Oh,
not
yeah, I didn't
important.
stand a chance.
Exactly. Yeah. um, but that's fierce. I will listen to it and then
Okay. I'm
we'll
gonna
go,
give you a whole playlist of things you have to listen to after this, I guess.
love it.
The English Hamtaro theme song,
Mhm.
Sparks, and Joyride.
Okay. Well, there you go. Um, you see that this one I might know better for question number three, and this one's gonna be a little bit harder for you. What's your third favorite movie?
Oh my gosh, that is hard. I don't. I'm always so bad when people ask me about movies because I'm like, I watch movies, but I'm not even a huge like movie person.
You see now I gotta like give you movies.
Now I'm stumped. Yeah, now I'll take movie recommendations and I'll never watch any of them
Mhm.
because I don't have the attention span.
Yeah. Before you answer, do you
Um,
want a movie recommendation, real quick?
sure. Give me a recommendation first.
National Anthem. It was a brand new movie that just came out. It is about queer cowboys, basically. There's
Fierce.
21-year-old kid just coming up to age. He's working on a ranch full of queer kids, like queer adults. Like I say kids, but like they're young.
Right.
It stars Mason Alexander Park, who was the MC in
Okay.
Cabaret, Desire in Sandman. You might recognize them. They're pretty popular,
Okay.
like popular face.
Okay.
And then Charlie Plummer, who was up and coming, like doing other stuff. Very fierce. Um,
Okay.
and it's not tragic, which I like.
Good. Oh, thank God.
Mhm.
Can we have queer movies without tragedy, please?
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of
Um,
like touches on the dark, but like it's not. Oh, I feel so much dread right now after this.
right.
It's not
Okay.
something else. I can't remember which movie. Brokeback Mountain, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know what my third favorite movie is. Um, let's just say, uh, let's say Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Oh my God. That is I don't think anyone's ever said that. And
That's a fierce one. I don't know if it actually ranks third, but it's up there for sure.
I remember seeing that surprisingly I saw that as a kid, but I don't remember any of it because I was a kid. But like
It's fierce.
that VHS was in our collection. Like it was in my mom's collection. So I need to see it. I need to see it one of these days because I hear it's
A
fierce.
rewatch.
Mhm. They've never really done anything with that like afterwards, huh?
No, I feel like there was definitely, well, they might be doing it still. There was definitely talks about like a sequel with both of them. Like a couple years ago. I think it might still be a thing, but I
Okay.
haven't heard anything about it. So
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
we'll
check it
see.
out. Like that's one of those. Oh, those are one of mom's movies. We can't really watch those unless she's around. So that's why
Right, right. As a kid, you're like, huh? That's not really for me.
exactly. I just knew that Phoebe from Friends is on it, and
Hmm.
that's it. Because I liked
Right,
I didn't
right,
like Friends, but like I enjoyed Phoebe whenever Friends was on.
right. And like whether you like Friends or not, it's unavoidable at that time. You know? Even now,
Mhm.
it's on in the break room at work like all the time. I'm like, we're still stuck on this, huh?
Yeah, that was one of those shows. I never understood Friends even as an adult. Like it's just they were gay, maybe, but yeah,
True. The
it's
gay
just
reboot. We need that.
yeah, for sure. Question number 4. See how like we're still like not done yet?
Yeah, these are long. It
Yeah,
should not be called lightning round.
yeah.
I don't know. It needs to be called something slow.
Well maybe like maybe if we get more people watching and they can
Yeah,
decide
yeah,
what
yeah,
what
yeah.
it's gonna be called.
Okay.
But question number
Audience poll for a name change.
exactly. Question number 4. What's your favorite ice cream topping or frozen yogurt if you like
Ooh,
frozen yogurt?
topping. Okay, I just got ice cream yesterday,
Mhm.
and I got little like graham cracker crumbs on top. That sounds
Oh.
so like plain and boring, but really good to me. Or like Oreo crumbs on top of ice cream,
Mhm.
or even just rainbow sprinkles.
I love that. I love rainbow sprinkles too. I think I love all
Like,
those choices. That's my choices too.
yeah, throw all three on some ice cream for me.
Mhm.
Dairy free, please, or lactose free, please.
Exactly. I think lately I don't know if I have a dairy allergy, but like um yeah, I think it might.
It feels like everybody does. Like I know
Yeah.
so many people that are like, yeah, it bothers me, but I still eat it. I'm like,
Mhm.
couldn't be me.
Yeah, you just shit your brains out that day and, call it
Right.
in.
And is it worth it? It's never worth it,
Oh, it's worth it. I love
in my
ice cream.
opinion.
Love ice cream.
I feel like especially now there's so at least like maybe it's a California thing. Like non-dairy ice cream is so accessible. I'm like,
Okay.
yes, there's some flavors that I'm like, what's that? But I'm like, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah. They got rid of the mom and pop ice cream shop downtown Spokane. So
Ugh.
Ben and Jerry's is where I go. Yeah. But the graham cracker is smart because Ben and Jerry's does have a s'mores. I love s'mores things.
Ooh, yes.
Mhm.
Same.
Love that. Last question. The final question, the most important one. Pick a side, left Twix or right Twix.
Right.
Right.
Right is right.
Nice. I love that. Was there any reason behind that?
No,
No.
no. I didn't want to think about it. It's lightning round.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, guys,
I
gals,
choose
and
not to elaborate.
that's fair. That's your prerogative, and that's valid. And I see you, and I hear you, and I respect that.
Thank you. Thank you for respecting my choice.
Yeah. Thank you for respecting my thank you to you.
Oh, yes. Thank
Uh,
you
validation.
for that.
All right, guys, Wayward Artist, this is the end of the show. Bijou, where can people find you? And depending on when this gets uploaded, like depending on my mental health, honestly, it's very hard to edit videos.
I feel
Um,
that.
yeah. Where can people find you normally?
Sure. So, I'm on Instagram at Bijou period Bentley
Period.
because a fan account took Bijou Bentley all one word, and then I was like, "Can I have this?" And there's like two posts of me from like 2017 or something, and then nothing, and I'm like, "Wow, thanks for stealing that." Twitter at Bijou Bentley. If you like, I'm really bad about uploading my performances, but if you like are like, oh, what's a Bijou Bentley show look like? You can find me on YouTube, just Bijou Bentley. Um, and then all my socials usually have like a one of those links in my bio that like shows everything else. And if you're local, I am usually in a show called Eves of Paradise every Tuesday. Um, I host a monthly bingo. I do a bunch of other shows too. So I'm all over the place.
Love that. And maybe one day you'll come to Spokane or, Washington adjacent and I'll get to see you perform. Maybe.
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 Okay. All right. Thanks guys for watching another amazing episode and another amazing nightlife entertainer. Um Hopefully by the time this gets uploaded, it'll be before the award ceremony. So I probably won't know if I'll win, but we're
But you
manifesting a win.
will.
Yes,
But you will.
yes, yes. The other one that's coming up, like the other nomination in my category, is a drag performer actually that I wrote in for their nomination in that
Oh,
category.
and their
So,
podcast probably sucks. So
well, they do a show
I'm just
actually.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No,
I'm just
there's
I'm team this show. So
yes, absolutely. You better be. We all I know I'm gonna win because I this is my all stars because it's the same category I got
oh
nominated in.
yes,
So
you've
we're
got this. You came back with your lip filler and all your fancy costumes, and you're ready to win.
and I lost like 70 pounds for real.
You're a new
Um,
you.
all right. So by the time this episode gets uploaded, we won't know if I won or not, or maybe we will. Like I said, it all depends on my mental health. Without further ado, Wade Warwood Artist. Until the next time, until the next episode, it's been real.